Hey everybody, welcome to part 5 of my workflow series, where I walk you through my workflow from taking the picture all the way to uploading the picture to my social media sites. So in part 5, we have finally moved everything into Photoshop. We are ready to work in Photoshop. Now, I can go ahead and tell you that some of the stuff we'll be covering in this edit is a little bit more advanced, and I would like to cover in another video where I can go into more depth. So just try to follow along. It could be a little confusing, but if you want to learn more about the processes I use in this video, make sure you leave me a thumbs up so I can go ahead and make those videos. So we're in Photoshop. If you've never used Photoshop before, and this is your first time opening it up, the first thing I want to say to do is go to this window tab up here at the top, click workspace, and make sure photography is checked. That's going to set up your workspace in Photoshop perfect for photography. You're going to have everything you need right on the screen. You won't have to do too much digging for what you need to do basic adjustments. Over here on the right, we have our histogram, our navigator, and then we have our libraries. I have a bunch of different libraries related to things I can overlay on my screen. We probably won't use that today. I'm very happy with the way this image already looks, but I can definitely do another video on that. And then down here we have our layers. And there's a lot of information packed into here, but again, I probably won't go into too much detail with that. But one thing that's really cool is you can take your layer and drag it, and you can either mask it with this little circle or duplicate it with this plus button. In this case, I want to duplicate my background layer. The reason being is because you never know when you're going to mess up or if you're going to mess up. And so I just want to make sure that I always have a backup. So some of the more simple stuff I can walk you through right now is spot healing and then content aware fill. And so we're going to go ahead and jump right into that. I want to start with spot healing. So right here, it's a spot healing brush. You adjust its size up here. I usually keep it on content aware. And I want to get rid of these people down here. They're really bothering me that they're in my picture. So spot healing is you just click and drag, and it typically does a pretty good job of hiding the people. The only issue I'm seeing here is that the spot healing is not giving me my desired result. So what we're going to do is instead go to this polygon lasso tool, and we're just going to make a polygon around them. What I'm now going to do is a content aware fill. You go to edit, content aware fill. I'll give you this preview. You know, I'm not a huge fan of that. That looks better. And what you really have to do is play around with your settings and see if you're able to get anything that you like. You know, I think that's okay. We'll go ahead and save this to the current layer, and then let me see if I can get any more comfortable with the way this looks. So we're using the spot healing tool once again. I just want to make sure it keeps trying to pick up the rocks, and I don't want it to pick up the rocks, but I want to keep the rocks in the picture because the rocks are pretty cool. I don't want there to be an extra bench there. I think we got it. I think that looks good. Fantastic. I'm happy with that. So we use the content aware fill, and then we use the spot healing brush to go back and touch up. That's perfectly acceptable. I'm fine with that. The next thing I want to do is remove this ugly telephone pole. Again, we're going to do the polygonal lasso tool, and then we're going to trace it. You want to leave some space around it so that Photoshop has some frame of reference of what it should look like when it compares what's inside the polygon versus what's outside the polygon. Go back to edit, and then content aware fill, and hopefully this looks good. That's perfect. Look at that. You can't even tell there was anything there. So go ahead and do that. We'll deselect. That's beautiful. I see one spot, so I want to go ahead and touch that up. And then we'll take a step back. Awesome. The next thing I want to remove is probably this light post as well. Similar process. I always get a little nervous when there's a bunch of weird shapes and a bunch of different colors you have to add into this, because you run the risk of it not knowing what to do. But nevertheless, we will go and see if we can make this happen. Go to edit, content aware fill, and that looks almost perfect. It does get a little weird around there, but we'll be able to fix that. We'll just go ahead and hit OK. Deselect. It looks mostly okay. We'll go ahead and hide that and hide that. If you hold shift, so if you click and then you hold shift and you click again, it'll draw a straight line. So that's a nice helpful hint. And for like these wires, it's almost easier to hide them using the spot fill, the spot healing brush. Let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to go to the healing brush tool. We're going to hold down the Alt button, and then I'll select that, and we'll see if we can get a nice match there. Not really thrilled with that match. Let's see if we can get a better one. No, I don't like how that's cut off. I don't know if there's much we can do about that. I don't think there is much that we can do. Let's see if we can do this. See, we just have to try a bunch of different things because I would love to make that look better. This might be a hard one to get. Okay, I think we did it. I think that might look good. It looks okay. Not a huge fan. But I think it looks decent from the picture as a whole. Okay. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and using the healing brush tool again. Let's see if we can touch this up just a tad by selecting this over here and dragging it up and making it look like it belongs. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So starting to come together, we have these light poles gone. I'm going to try to fill this line that runs through these trees. I think we can make it happen with just the spot brush. And I want to bring it down just a little bit more. I think 11 should do us. And we're going to work our way down this line until it's like it never even existed. So there's so many tools at your disposal here for simple markups like this. Um, I would remove this light post, but I think it blends in well enough to where we don't have to delete it. I do want to get rid of that. I want to get rid of these hanging wires as well, because they're a little bit distracting. Um, I don't want it to be too obvious. I think we may be able to bring this up a little bit and see. Nope, that's not going to work. So, let's see. So we're getting there. Let's do this. Let's try to get the bulk of these wires cut out. And let's see if our content aware fill will give us mostly empty space. It doesn't really. No, I'm not a huge fan of that. And this is part of the Photoshop process, right? When you're editing out things like this, what we can do is go back to our healing brush tool, pick an empty space, and then let's deselect this, and then let's pick a nice big open empty space, and we can sort of color in this space. We could even probably patch this. I don't have a tablet, so I'm doing this with my mouse, which is not the most fun, but we can probably fit something in there like that, and then deselect, and then touch up around the edges just a little bit, make it look a little cleaner. Go back to this brush, and then and so it's really just a lot of playing around. And this will go on for a while, so I want to go ahead and do some of these off camera and get everything ready, and then I'll be back to you in just a minute. Okay, so I did all the tedious work of filling in all those cables. I think I've got us to a pretty good spot now. Now I want to do something that I think may be very interesting. We will see where it goes. I want to take the Empire State Building and actually make it a tad bit larger. So to do that, it gets a little complicated. We're going to go to this quick select tool and fill in all this area. We have a little bit fill in here that I want to go ahead and get rid of. Okay, awesome. So we're going to select inverse, and then we're going to select and mask, and we're going to create a new layer with a mask there. Then we're going to go back here, and then same thing, reselect. We're not selecting inverse this time, but we are going to select and mask again. I think it only selected on there, so let's deselect and then select all of this again, do the same thing, get rid of that right there, and then we'll do select not sure why it's not allowing me to select in mask. Oh, I think it's because I have to be in the right layer. So then we do select and mask. We're selecting everything except for the center. We don't want to shift edges, but we do want to feather just a little bit so that the two layers sort of blend together. We'll do another new layer with layer mask. So when you take out, there's the layer that we want to make a little bit larger, and then here's the overall layer. If we take that out, we can see it's just an empty gap. So this is exactly what we wanted. These two layers are hidden. They don't have the eye checked next to them, so we've hidden those two layers. And what we're going to do now is I want to take this layer and let's see if we can make this just a tad bit larger. Okay, hit OK, and then let's zoom out and see how that looks. I like that. Let me move it up just a little bit. Okay, I like that. And if we zoom out, you can really see the Empire State Building now. It looks a little blurry. This will only be, I'm not printing these, this is just going to be online, so I'm fine with them being a little bit blurry. But let's go ahead and we'll sharpen edges, see if that helps at all. And then let me actually click sharpen. Okay. We do have, I think this does look a little weird down here. So what I will do then is, in fact, it is looking really weird through there. I think it's because of all the sharpening. There we go. It's because of all the sharpening. I only want to sharpen this. So let me make sure that, okay. Hit Control Y, down a little bit larger, and then hide that layer. Only work on this layer, and let's sharpen, and then let's sharpen. Okay, awesome. We'll deselect all that. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the way this looks. We might just have to live with it. No, we're going to fix this. Which we should be able to. This is going to require some finesse. So this will take a little bit of time, so I'll be back once I finish this section as well. Okay, so I touched it up a little bit, mostly by copying a bush and then bringing it over to kind of cover up that weird little area. The only other thing I want to do for this video, because the next video is going to be a little bit more difficult as well, and I don't want this video to get too long because it's already pretty long, is I'm just going to spot heal just a few things, like this spot right here. Let me go ahead and cover that up. If I could get to the right layer. And let me zoom in a little bit because I can't really see what I'm working with. And then we'll just spot heal that because that was a little distracting. Um, and then let's try to do one more content aware fill for this Vespa that's right here. Just because it's really standing out to me, and I'm not a huge fan of it. And we'll see if we can get it to hide a little bit. And I like that. We'll hit OK. We'll deselect, and then just go through and touch it up just a little bit. I think that is good. And then there's just a few other spots. I don't like this blue, so let's get rid of it. I think it's from this guy's headlights. Love headlights. And you know what, let's just go ahead and erase all these words while we're at it. Okay, perfect. You could really sit here and edit this all day, but you'll drive yourself crazy. So that's it for right now. We'll jump back into part 6. We'll go over some perspective warps and get some things taken out for that. Make sure you like and subscribe for some more videos. And thank you so much. I will see y'all at part 6.